Hello, everyone. Ron Jaworski here, and welcome to Jaws Picks. I got kicked out of my office. I'm now at the Pizza Hut in Marlton, New Jersey, Route 70. Ed Herron's opened the door up for us so we can stay warm, eat some pizza, have some wings. Great company, great hospitality, but more importantly, great hospitality by my guest, Eagles Hall of Famer, Jeremiah Trotter. Trot, great to have you with us.
What's up, Jaws?
It's all good.
I think I like this office a little bit better than yours.
Yeah, that boardroom. I don't have as much fun as do that boardroom. I got Coffee Jones helping me out with all that. He does all the heavy lifting. I just walk in. But
Coffee the man, ain't he?
I like the food though. Ed, thank you so much. You and your staff. It's great. So
great.
We may have to take the Jaws picks on the road. I kind of like this.
I like it.
All right. Wild Card weekend is in the books. We're into the divisional playoffs, and before we get to the games, we should probably talk about maybe some news that transpired over the last week, and most of it now is.
You mean James Harden?
Hey, James, yeah. I think Ben Simmons is probably happy right now. He's
right.
Staying in town.
Right.
He feels a little more comfortable. Yeah, I would have liked to see Harden here though.
Hey, been
Him
nice.
and Embiid.
Yeah.
All right. Well. We could do another podcast for basketball. We can do that.
All right, you go.
But as we go to divisional playoffs, and you had a run here in Philadelphia, primarily under Andy Reid, where hey, the Eagles were a perennial championship team. In the NFC Championship game, a playoff team. What is the big difference you noticed from the regular season to the playoffs?
Shoot, I mean, you're playing all good teams. You're not playing those guys that are just going to have a top 10 pick in the next year's draft. You playing teams at the bottom. So these teams are good. Most of them have really good quarterbacks.
Yep.
And, discipline. You're playing teams that don't beat themselves all year. So every mistake that you have is going to get exposed. You're going to get some really good coaches also at that point. And just the intensity level is different. Just like going from preseason to the regular season. That intensity level in the playoffs, man, is just something about the feeling you get when you in training camp. It's like 80, 90, 100 guys there. Then all of a sudden, every preseason game, it get cut down. You get that feeling in the playoffs. Only what? 8 teams?
8 teams left.
8 teams left. The whole world's watching. National televised game. And just want to go out there, man, and just, it's do or die.
Yeah. Trot, you were a leader on that Eagles team for a number of years, and you just talked about how everything is amped up. When you start getting not only the wild card weekend, now divisional playoffs, and then divisional championship games next week. Did you have to grab like these young guys and say, hey, this game is magnified not once, twice, probably 50 times. Every mistake you make is magnified. Get your nose in a book, study the tape, be prepared. It's a whole new ball game when you get to the playoffs. You as a leader, did you assume that responsibility?
No doubt. A lot of the leaders did. Every now and then you hear, hey, it's playoff week, baby. It's playoff time. Do or die. We're not trying to go home, that type of thing. And, every year we would get 2 playoff games during the regular season. Yep. Anytime we played the Dallas Cowboys, for us it was playoff game. So, the leaders, Andy would always stress it in team meetings, and then the leaders did a good job of also stressing it in the locker room, on the practice field. Stay zoned in. It's not as much joking on the sideline when you're not in practice. So you just tapped in that zone.
Trot, what I remember from my playoff days and dealing with a lot of young players. Because, as a quarterback, you're expected to be a leader and groom the young players like you as a linebacker, particularly in the middle. You're always directing offense and keeping everybody motivated. But I would always tell the guys the week before the playoffs started, after the last game, whatever happened, is you're going to see a big difference. Now, not from an X's and O's standpoint, but when you come off the field into that locker room, the number of media people that are there.
Oh yeah,
I've always you always got your 4 or 5 beat reporters. You do that sort of stuff, but then all of a sudden playoff time comes around. You got all the the big guys are there. So I said, all of a sudden you look around and go, ooh,
it's different.
You know it's different. Oh yeah.
First of all, they only got to cover 8 games. That's
right.
First thing.
That's right.
And when you show up on game day, and you see the big trucks out there with all you know what? This is prime time, baby.
That's the beauty of the game. Everyone gets amped up around this time, and maybe some other news around the league. 7 coaches, looking for a job.
Right.
7 new coaches will be coming into the NFL as head coaches over the next few weeks. It's hard, I've always gotten close to coaches and been with coaches that have gotten fired, and it's really hard. But owners own, coaches coach,
right?
And when you're losing, owners don't like to lose. Players don't like to lose either. Don't get me wrong, coach. No one likes to lose, but change is always going to happen when you're losing. And what's your feeling when you see coaches get fired? Because my feeling this year was COVID-related more than negative performance on the field. In this pandemic year, the coronavirus, everything was upside down, not only football, but our lives.
Right.
And I just think it's unfair to truly evaluate and fairly evaluate a head coach on this COVID year.
I'll agree to some degree of that. Also, I would say just injuries. You talk about the Eagles, just the amount of injuries that they had.
Yep.
And it's one thing Doug can't do. He can't go out there and make plays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to win games when you don't have the guys that in your starting lineup on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that was a tough situation for him. But you're right. The COVID, man, this whole year has been crazy.
Yep.
Not just in football, just in your daily lives, And you tried to make adjustments. It's just like a game. You got to make adjustments on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like the Eagles is the only team has had COVID.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a whole across the board.
Teams have handled it very well. But also, if you're the Cleveland Browns, who are still alive in this thing, look what they've had to deal with.
Right.
Look what the Baltimore Ravens had to deal with. Some teams have battled through it in a much better way, where some teams have really been hurt by it. So, but it's hard for me to say, boy, you lose your job. You lose your job because you didn't have a winning season and your expectations were higher and it didn't happen. That's just my personal. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. That's just kind of how I feel about it. All right, Trot. Well, now we're going to move on and we're going to get to some football.
All right.
Because people listen to the Jaws podcast, Jaws Picks podcast. You know why? We make picks, brother. Hey, we make picks.
Can I take this to the casino?
Hey, I'm against the spread this year, against the spread for the regular season, 5 games ahead. 5 games above 500.
So I could have made some money off you.
You could have made some money, my friend. As Coffee and I, you call it, we're making beer money. And for you need some golf money. I know that. You got to work on your golf game.
Man.
You get some golf money. And last week, against the spread, 3-2-1. You're making beer money if you're taking my picks. 3-2-1.
Well, I know. Listen, one thing I know about you, you do your homework. So
do my homework.
You do your homework.
And it's kind of like I look at it almost like as a player. I do my homework, and everyone's got information.
Right.
I look at the tape.
Tape don't lie.
Hey, I'm not always right, but I always tell our listeners, well, hey, I'll give you what my opinion is on the tape. I'll give you the score, but always before that game, a couple hours before, make sure you check the weather, check the injuries, check the COVID report, all those things. At the last minute, there are always changes being made.
Jim Johnson used to say, "Try, I think you was guessing on that play." I said, "Jim, it was a highly educated guess." It don't mean I was right every time, but
Trot, you did your homework. We know
homework.
that. That's why you're in the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame, man. You did your homework, and one of the most respected people in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles football team. So I'm honored to have you on the show here at the Pizza Hut in Marlton, and let's get to the serious stuff. The L.A. Rams at the Green Bay Packers.
Woo!
The first thing I think of, I played 17 years, and every few years you get that trip to Lambeau Field, and there's the mystique of Lambeau Field is real. Now, there won't be 70,000 people in the stands, but it's still Lambeau Field. The ghosts of Curly Lambeau, right. Vince Lombardi and all those things all come into mind. As a player, did you ever think of it that way? Boy, I know I did. That's how did you ever get Lambeau Field, man? It's playoffs, great team we're playing against, but man, this is cool, Lambeau Field.
I didn't think it was cool. Not playing Lambeau. Well, it depends the time of year you played out of Lambeau. You want to play them early in the season, man, but in the playoffs, that's one place you don't want to travel to because you're going to be freezing your bottom off. Mm-hmm. But, it's a lot of history out there.
Well,
that's for sure.
And history is in that guy slinging the ball around
Right.
as well. Aaron Rodgers, a phenomenal year. And I've always thought, when the teams that had that bye week, I can still hear in my ears from, Dick Vermeil and Don Shula and Chuck Knox, guys that I played for, and Marty Schottenheimer. We got, that was like one of the goals, walking that locker room day one. We need a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone gets fresh. Everyone gets healthy.
Right.
Right. You get a little time away from the facility. Did you feel that was important? One of the most important things out of the regular season is to get a bye week?
Without a shadow of a doubt, man. Not just your body. You get opportunity to get extra 7 days of film, breaking down film on the team, game planning, putting in the coaches, especially putting in, trick plays and putting in things that they haven't seen all year. So, it's an advantage all the way around.
Yeah. All right, the Rams, a little banged up. Jared Goff playing with a couple pins in his finger. Stepped in last week when John Wolford got injured. And I thought did a tremendous job. This is a Herculean task going to Green Bay, but they do have a defense, Trot. They hang their hat on that defense, don't they?
Number one defense in the league. And listen, them guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know that till last week. And I'm listening to the announcer saying they got the number one defense.
Yep.
And I'm watching these guys play, man. I'm like, they're going to need every bit of that number one defense this week because Aaron Rodgers ain't no joke, man.
No, he's going to put points on the board. The defense will be good. And, I think the Rams, to a certain degree, going to probably have to play a little keep away. They control the football.
Right.
And, hey,
right.
Cam Akers been running the ball really well. And their offensive line is rock solid with the Rams. So I think they'll try to control the clock in this one.
You gotta take away Adams. You got to take him out. You can't go out there like Ohio State and lead a Heisman Trophy winner.
Run all over the place. Yeah.
Just scot-free.
That's right. I like you got that plug in there because, by the way, Trot's son will be going to Clemson next year. So congratulations, man. And
appreciate it.
Good luck with that Clemson program. All right, Trot, I got to get Coffee Jones involved there. He's the guy that gives me these lines, and the smoke comes out of my ears, and I make the pick. So, Coffee, what we got? We got Green Bay -7. Packers favored by 7 points against the L.A. Rams. All right. I'm going to go first, Trot, so I'm going to put the pressure on you.
Okay.
I think it's going to be really, really difficult to go to Green Bay for the L.A. Rams. I think it's going to be really difficult. Aaron Rodgers, all his weapons, although they're a little banged up in the offensive line, that's certainly going to hurt a little bit. But Lambeau Field, the mystique, the ghosts, whatever you want to call it, they got my mind. They got me. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers 27-17.
Wow.
So hey, I think Green Bay razor sharp, rested. So I'm going to go Green Bay Packers 27, LA Rams 17. That would be a cover.
What's the temperature supposed to be out there in Green Bay? Game time temperature.
It's Green Bay. It's going to be cold.
Is it an early game?
What I look like, a weatherman?
Well, is it an early game?
It's first 3 o'clock game.
I think that definitely helps. That definitely helps.
Helps LA. All right.
So, knowing that, I think it's going to be a little closer. Because I believe when you get in the playoffs, man, they say defense win championships, and I'm standing on that. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a little closer. I think probably I'm going to give Green Bay a 3-point edge.
Okay. All right.
You give them 10?
I got them 10, yeah. Now, you said defense win championships. Now, in our era, or maybe my era, it did. Not anymore. The rules now, they favor the offense so much. I wouldn't want to play defense anymore.
You're right, man.
All right. Let's go. This is to me, it's divisional playoff weekend. They're great games. But the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, go to Buffalo. Buffalo wins their first playoff game in 25 years last week. Oh, man. I grew up in Buffalo, so I'm proud of that team. I was a season ticket holder and happy for the Buffalo Bills fans, not only in Western New York but around the country. And Josh Allen playing lights out. Stephon Diggs on fire. Buffalo's defense, very good. But I don't know if Lamar Jackson can be stoppable. I know he's going to be a lot more confident after that win because, the media puts this, this 100-pound weight on your back. You never won a playoff game. Never won a playoff like he never won. He's got a team.
He's in his third year?
Yeah, third year.
Really a year and a half because he played half the season.
Yeah,
his second year or whatever in last year. So.
He's a league MVP.
Right.
Because he didn't win a playoff game. It's not his fault. Of course, quarterback gets too much credit and too much blame. We all know that. And there'll be some fans up there from the Bills Mafia as well. Right. Probably about 6,000 people. They'll sound like 60. They make a lot of noise up there in Buffalo. So the weather's going to be good in Buffalo, considering what you could get in mid-January. The line in this game, Coffee, what do we got? I know we got the Bills minus 2.5. All right.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to put my Swami cap on here.
You going against the line?
The line tells me something here. I think Josh Allen tells me something, too. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills 24, the Baltimore Ravens 23.
You got to tell me why now.
I just think it's going to be hard for Baltimore to go up there. A Buffalo team coached by a guy that you know well, Sean McDermott. Mm-hmm. The Bills, I think, are just playing much more balanced football, running the football, throwing the football, playing defense. And I think if Buffalo can get a lead in this game, they're going to make it difficult for the Ravens to come back. As much as I love Lamar Jackson, I don't think he's where he needs to be as a pinpoint precision passer. If they fall behind, which I'm thinking they're going to, I'm going to go with Buffalo and force the Ravens to come back. But a game like this, you got Justin Tucker, who's the best kicker in the National Football League. He can kick it from anywhere. So that in a game close like this, 2.5, he could be the difference.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to go with?
I'm going with the Ravens.
You're going Ravens?
I've watched Lamar the last 5 games of the season, and then this past week, I know they got off to a slow start, but man, his confidence, he's playing more relaxed. I felt like he's throwing the ball really good, and I think now Buffalo, they was hot too, but I think they got a little exposed last week. I think Indianapolis should have won that game if they take 3 points. They had 2 opportunities.
Are you
to take
questioning Frank Reich and coaches again? I am.
Yeah,
His analytics stuff.
It was two occasions he should have took field goals at 6 point, and then he went for 2 on a situation that the numbers really didn't make sense for him to take that 2-point conversion at that point.
Analytics, my friend.
All
these damn analytics guys.
I told my son, I said, man, they're going to lose this game not taking those field goals.
Take your points.
Got to take them points, especially in the playoffs. Both teams are too good,
Yep. Trotter, I always use this. I played for head coaches that won close to 1,000 games in the NFL. Mm-hmm. When you look at, Don Shula and Marty Schottenheimer, Dick Vermeil, Buddy Ryan, all those guys, close to 1,000 games. Their philosophy was go for 2 when you have to.
When you have to.
And everyone now is chasing points. The analytics tell you this. And I'm saying, you know what? Play the game.
Not in the beginning of the third quarter.
Or the second quarter.
Right.
Yeah, when you're for going a field goal.
You've never seen Bill Belichick make a dumb mistake like that.
No, he doesn't make.
He don't make mistakes like that.
No mistake. Period.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So you got the Ravens winning the game.
Winning
the game. All right.
27-23.
I just want to be sure you're on record with that.
Yeah. 27-23.
All right. We'll be back with more of Jaws picks as we come from the Pizza Hut. Love it, man. We get a break to eat a little bit, Trout. We get the chance to bulk up. I don't need to bulk up. Probably you don't either.
Me neither.
All right. We'll be back with Jaws picks right after this.
Big day of closet organizing and jigsaw puzzling? Get Pizza Hut's Big Dinner Box. 2 medium pizzas, breadsticks, and your choice of pasta or wings. Sealed for your safety, all in one box. Choose contactless delivery or new curbside pickup at pizzahut.com.
Pizza Hut wings are bigger and better than the other pizza guys' wings. No one outwings the Hut.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ron Jaworski here at the Pizza Hut in Marlton, New Jersey. As I said earlier in the show, my wife kicked me out of the office where I normally do this podcast, and I may get in trouble, Trot, if we keep coming back to a place like the Pizza Hut, man. There's a lot of food here. They're gonna have to roll us out of here.
We're gonna get some new clothes.
And we are making our picks for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We've gone through the first 2 games, the Rams at Green Bay, and we've said the Rams will win and they will cover. Trotter and I disagreed on Buffalo. I got Buffalo winning. He's got the Ravens winning, but we both have the Ravens covering. If we're putting a little put a little six-pack on that, maybe. Because we try to make beer money for everybody here at Jaws Picks. All right. Let's go to Sunday's games. We got the Cleveland Browns. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love those Cleveland Browns. What a Herculean effort last week. Your coaches out, players around, COVID related, and boy, they put a whooping on the Steelers. They put a whooping,
flat out whooping.
Yeah. So congratulations to the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs. Your reward for going to the next round of the playoffs is the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. Okay. Whoa. Where do you start here? First of all, you take Andy Reid after the bye week.
Right.
Trot, you played for him for a lot of years. Remember what his record is?
He was tough, man. He was tough after bye week. 2 weeks of game plan, and it would draw some stuff you ain't never seen.
18-3.
Wow.
18-3, and in the playoffs 5-2. So the man does know how to coach. So if my math is right, that Youngstown State math, 23-5 after a bye week. I think the odds are in favor of Andy Reid putting a number on the Cleveland Browns.
As a team, after bye week, we knew we was going to win.
Yeah. Now,
we knew it.
What made it different? Why was he so good?
He had an extra week to game plan. And some guys, you get like Andy, guy like Bill Belichick. I mean, we played Bill Belichick in Super Bowl. He changed his whole defense in that week time.
Yeah.
You know, so you just get Andy, who is very, very creative, one of the most creative minds I've seen coach. You give him an extra week, man.
But then, yourself, you played on the defensive side of football. You had Jim Johnson, who was, one of the best schemers in the history of the NFL,
Right.
as a designer of defense.
Right. Jim Johnson was the type of guy. He wasn't going to go change the whole defense. He is what he was. He was going to bring pressure. Mm-hmm. He's going to put pressure on the quarterback. And so I don't think that extra week really benefited Jim. Mm. But, because he is what he is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. And there's Steve Spagnuolo now, the defense coordinator in Kansas City right now. He's kind of a little bit like Jim Johnson.
Bend but don't break.
Designer. He'll pick his spots when they come with those creative blitzes.
Right.
Not these all-out blitzes, but I call them safe blitzes. And Jim Johnson did such a great job. Very seldom zero coverage, but boy, he made it look like it was zero coverage. But he knew what he was doing. The Chiefs, I guess again, we're probably not looking at a whole lot of weather. The weather patterns. No Arctic frost coming down from the North Pole, so everything looks pretty good. The Browns clearly want to run the football.
Right.
That's what they have to do. They're not going to be a team that wants to turn this into a throw ball.
No.
Baker Mayfield in his first game in the playoffs last week, he was rock solid. So I expect him to play that same way again. But hey, their foundation is run the football, and all of a sudden, little play action passing, little gimmick and gadget. But this is going to be a tough one. Tough one for the Browns to go to Kansas City. Coffee, we got this one at Kansas City, favored by just under double digits at 9.5 points.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
Is that tempting for you?
For the second round of the playoffs, whether they're the Browns or not. Shoot. That's
23-5, Andy Reid after a bye week. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions. And I'm going to pick this score to be, Trot, Kansas City 35, your Cleveland Browns.
why do you got to be my Cleveland?
Well, because you got Clemson orange on them.
He tried to make
they're orange.
He tried to make that work.
I'm trying to make it work here. Right? That's all I can do. Trying to make it work.
I'll roll with it.
All right. So I got Kansas City 35, Cleveland 20. That's 9.5 going to the Brownies. The Kansas City Chiefs cover the Brownies. Cover against the Browns. No dog pound in Kansas City. There may be some barbecue out in the parking lot, but no dog pound. All right, so I got Kansas City covering. And Trot, who do you like?
Obviously, I'm going to go with Kansas City, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference.
Ooh, okay.
I think Kansas City is going to have trouble stopping that run. Mm. And I've been watching that Browns team. Those guys can flat out run the football. Mm-hmm. Them two, that tag team and them running backs they got, man.
Oh, yeah.
And Kansas City, they've been known not to be able to stop the run.
Yep.
Their defense, they want to get that. I think their defense is built to stop the pass. because they know the offense is going to put up a lot of points. Teams have to get into their passing game. And, so they're going to run the football, keep that offense off the field.
You mentioned that thunder and lightning combination.
Man.
Nick Chubb, he's averaging 4.2 yards per attempt. They come in with the lightning, Kareem Hunt, 6 yards per attempt. So
who's going to be pissed off, by the way, because he was in
KC.
Right.
Yeah. Well, for what he did, he shouldn't be pissed off. That's another subject at another time. All right. So you think the Brownies cover?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Difference of opinion on that one. All right. Our last game, the divisional round. We got the old men playing this one. Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Between these guys, we could do a whole show on the records that they both own. Just if you're a quarterback, this is must-see TV. And I'm a quarterback, so I can't wait to watch this game. I was down in Washington last week calling the game against the Washington football team in Tampa Bay, and I watched Tom Brady pregame. The guy is 43 years old.
Right.
And Trot, he can still stand on that far hash and throw that deep sideline comeback at 20 yards like a laser, man.
With some velocity on it?
It's amazing. This
Wow.
guy's 43 years old. 43 years old. So I applaud Tom Brady. And Drew Brees has lost some of his fastball, but, man, does he have some weapons, too. Woo! And Michael Thomas getting healthy again.
Right.
To me, Kamara's the guy that makes it offense.
He's the guy you got to stop,
work.
yeah.
He really is. And Alvin Kamara can run. He can catch. He can line out wide and be a receiver. He can come out of the backfield. He can dart inside. He can dart outside. And he only had a game this year where he scored 6 touchdowns. Other than that, it's been a normal year for Alvin Kamara. And the Bucks, Brady, Todd Bowles. And, I know you're familiar with Todd Bowles here. He coached in Philadelphia. And he's now the Bucs defensive coordinator. And they do a really good job with their defense.
Right.
He's one of those scheming guys. And Todd, he got courage now. He's got courage.
Oh,
he will bring it, man.
He got a little bit like Jim Johnson, man. He going to come get you now. He don't care.
Yeah, I think Todd's one of those guys. That's kind of, to me, the intriguing part of this game. What will the mode of operation be for Todd Bowles and the Bucs defense? Brees has been one of those guys, get the ball out of his hand, but you can't let him sit in that pocket now.
No,
He'll pick you apart. So I think Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator for Tampa, has got to be opportunistic. Pick his shots. Have a good feel for what they're trying to do in New Orleans, and have that broken down, and maybe get a turnover from Drew Brees when he's trying to stick it down the field. But hey, it's a tough one. The Saints have owned the Bucs this year. They've owned them. Was their last game 38-3? 38-3.
Right.
But that's history. But hey, it goes to show you that they're capable of putting a whooping on them.
I think Brady has gelled a little bit better with the offense since then.
Oh, hey, no question about it. Mike Evans, as I said, I was down in Washington last week. I for not knowing the guy wasn't going to play until like pregame warm up.
Right.
He looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
I still think they're looking to get that chemistry back. I don't think it's quite there yet that he had before he got hurt. So that's going to be a situation too. You only had one game to really get that chemistry. And
Godwin gives them the speed they need. And by the way, Gronk has been kind of invisible lately.
He ain't the same Gronk he was in New England.
So I don't know what's going on with Gronk right now. But you know what? He'll probably come to life. All right, we got to put our feet to the fire in this one, Trot. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints, coming off a bye, should be well rested. Those 11 cracked ribs of Drew Brees should be healthy by now. The line on this game, as Coffee's holding up the sign, 3.5. The Saints are favored by. Saints by 3.5. And you can't see. Maybe you could hear the smoke coming out of my ears right now. This is a really hard one for me. It's a really hard one. And I know the Saints have whipped the Bucs twice this year.
Right.
The Saints look really good. They have a bye week. But as you said, the Saints team with Brady is starting to really come on. So I'm going to go with this one. New Orleans 30. They'll win the game, but the Bucs will cover with 27. So 30-27, New Orleans over Tampa Bay.
That's a lot of points for the going up against the number one rush team on defense.
Number one rush team.
That's a lot of points there, buddy.
But the Saints put 30 on everybody. They put 38 on them the last time they played.
They struggled a little bit against the Bears last week.
All right.
You know,
All right.
a little bit, right?
I like it.
They struggle a little bit.
I know you're looking for that silver lining.
Yeah,
right now.
man. You know, I mean,
I know it.
I'm a big believer in momentum and how you're clicking, you know, going into the playoffs. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't even know Chicago made the playoffs.
Well, they backed in.
I'm looking at the game. I'm like, how did these guys make it? I ain't heard nothing from them all year.
Well, you won't hear anything about them for another year.
That's right.
All right. So you like Tampa?
I like the Bucks. I like the Bucks.
And 3.5.
24-17.
24-17. Man, you got him winning that game outright.
Outright.
Man, he's on. All right. Well, Trot, I can't thank you enough for joining me here on the Jaws Picks podcast. Thanks to all the fine folks here at Pizza Hut, Ed Herron and his outstanding team. We're probably a few pounds heavier from taking the show on the road.
No doubt.
Maybe my wife will let me back in the office so we can do the show in the boardroom. But right now, great to be here at the Pizza Hut. And let's hope
we're going to do the next show on the elliptical treadmill.
Yeah, we're gonna have some athletic trainers around working us out, Trot. I want to thank Jeremiah Trotter, Eagles Hall of Famer, for joining me here on Jaws Picks, the Ron Jaworski podcast. Take care, everyone, and we'll be back next week with more of Jaws Picks, and we'll keep making you some beer money.